this up because you're going to dig this. This is awesome. This is the BBC report. This is the BBC reporting on the collapse of World Trade Center 7 because they were there. Somehow must have had a reporter already in New York at the time, which is not unheard of. And they were reporting on this all day long, and then they talked about the collapse of Building 7. So I'm going to play a little bit of this, and then I'm going to jump it up again and kind of back and forth to show you, yes, this is the spot. This actually is Building 7. You can see it in the same building with the little point and tower and spire on it, and then you'll see Building 7. So check this shit out right now. This is going to blow your way a little bit here.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago, I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing. And indeed it has. Apparently that's only a few hundred yards away from where the World Trade Center towers were. And it seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. There's almost a sense downtown in New York behind me, down by the World Trade Centers, of just an area completely closed off as the rescue workers try to do their job.
How did
but
they
this isn't
know?
the first building that has suffered as a result.
And
we
it
know
happened.
that part of the Marriott Hotel next to the World Trade Center also collapsed as a result of this huge amount of falling debris from 110 floors of the two twin towers of the World Trade Center. As you can see behind me, the Trade Center appears to be still burning. We see these huge clouds of...
Okay, correct me. Did she just say that the Marriott Hotel also collapsed? Did I hear that right? Or did I hear
thought I heard something like that, but I was too busy watching the back of the screen to see whether or not she was actually had live, because right now you're looking at video footage is what she's referring to, the video footage. It could just have been, it may not have been a live feed.
I'm wondering if she's in like a building at the window, see right there, and then she steps out of the screen right about here, and you can still see everything. But there's buildings.
If that's what she saw, I would like to see other footage of where she is, because that just that's pathetic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there's more.
Know that part of the Marriott Hotel next to the World Trade Center also collapsed as a result of this huge amount of falling debris from...
It did not. The part of the Marriott building the hotel did not collapse, as far as I can remember.
No.
And I went there. What did I just hit?
It said part of. I don't remember it being repaired.
No, I don't either. Let me turn this off here. I don't know what that's going on. Yeah, there was something that I don't remember, because I actually went to New York in 2003, and we stayed near that Marriott Hotel or in it or something like that. We were 2 blocks from Ground Zero. And of course, I wandered around. My wife at the time was in a conference for work, and I was able to wander around and checked out, of course, the Ground Zero, the hole and everything. Got a picture of the girder that was in a shape of a cross, if you remember that one. I actually got that picture. It was pretty cool. But yeah, she just said that part of the Marriott. So this is all bullshit. And then they keep going on with this. So let's continue on with this.
Floors of the two twin towers of the World Trade Center. As you can see behind me, the Trade Center appears to be still burning. We see these huge clouds of smoke and ash, and we know that behind that there's an empty piece of what was
she is
a very
live.
familiar
She's there. It's
New
not
York
a video
skyline, a symbol of the financial prosperity of this city, but completely disappeared now, and New York is still unable to take on board what has happened to them today.
Yeah.
Presumably there were very few people in the Salomon building when it collapsed. I mean, there were, I suppose.
Did you hear what he just said?
Yeah, very few people in the Salomon building.
When it collapsed, and yet it's still standing there right behind her.
Right.
those fears of
Yeah.
possible further collapses around the area?
Well,
That's what
as
you
far
would
as
hope.
I was
This
told,
whole
there wasn't
downtown
anybody
area
in that
behind me
building
has been
left. They were
completely
all
sealed off
vacated.
and evacuated, apart from emergency workers. That was done by the mayor, Rudy Giuliani.
Okay, so now if I jump ahead to the one spot right here. Okay, so look at the skyline. You see this building here, right underneath the update, the word update
Yep.
right in here.
Yep.
Okay, it's got a point and the spire on it, and then here is the World Trade Center 7. Now, check this out, because right about in here, it's a little bit of Silverstein, but
pull. They made that decision to pull, and then we watched the
there's that building. There's
collapse.
building 7. No, that shot was building 7. Now check all these out. They're going to go through a couple more. So I had to go back and forth on that because I wanted to make sure, well, how do I know that was actually the building? And it was, and then that shot just kind of proved it. I'm not an expert in New York City skyline, per se. It's not a normal, iconic thing. Yeah, straight down. No way. There's just one other little thing. I think this is it.
Yep, I love these.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy town right there with everything. And it's just, you just have to sit there and wonder, what the hell is really going on? And that's why I kind of brought you in on this, because we wanted to talk about it, because you had some other interesting insights. This is, I'll let this play as we kind of talk and end this particular episode of podcast. But yeah, this is all very interesting stuff. And, they're talking about the thermite reaction.
Thermite. Yep.
Yeah. Everything like that. So, I mean, there you go. There are the cuts that look way too straight.
Now here's the problem. There are traceable sources for these materials.
Oh yeah.
Okay. There are also, this type of material is cataloged.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Now you see that nano structure super thermite?
Yeah.
That's very telling right there.
Yeah. Nanothermite, right? There you go. Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, of course.
Yep.
Of course it is. Ultra fine grain aluminum iron oxide. So they got the pyrotechnic explosives going on. We saw the molten. Yeah, that's
molten beams.
Molten beams still burning in the debris. I don't know how many days or
but
hours.
You see how that's a small amount?
Yeah.
It's a concentrated amount right there. Whereas had it been all of the above because of the jet fuel and whatever else, it would have been a giant friggin' blob. Yeah. These were localized cuts.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing that I always kind of noticed. If the top of the building, and where the plane hit, 87th floor or whatever it was, hit there, and then you have the rest of the building on top, okay? If that were to collapse, there would be enough resistance, especially from those upper floors that were right below where the plane hit, to knock that top piece off. But it didn't. It just kept accordioning down the fucking building, right? And it just is like, well, that doesn't seem natural to me. It wouldn't just collapse on itself. It would hit some resistance coming down from the floors that weren't affected and knock it off to the side or something. And there we go. Oh, papers removed by the BYU database. Isn't that interesting? So it goes on. But anyway, yeah, it's quite interesting, this this stuff. I got you frozen for a second, it looks like.
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm here.
There you go. Okay. Got you back. So you heard my whole thing about the building collapsing on top. It would have hit resistance and knocked that top portion down. There's no way it would have just accordion down and collapsed straight on it itself. The towers, either one of them. That's bullshit.
It's all a matter of timing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw the footage of controlled demolition when things don't fire properly.
Yeah.
It's pretty nasty. Buildings topple over, big chunks kind of roll over and fucking crush vehicles that are nearby.
Oh.
You know, there's a whole bunch of shit. So when you have, all right, so to touch on some of the today's news with the Pentagon not being able to pass the audit.
Yeah.
And isn't that funny? Like where was that division based? And when in the building.
Right.
Okay. So there's a seventh audit that they didn't pass. So they have a black budget that everybody's aware of, even though you're not supposed to be aware of.
Yeah.
That's still auditable in a classified environment. So
yeah.
So that's something. It basically it's reprogramming of money into different buckets or shifting shit around. They're notorious for it, but they also can use it for a lot of things. Yeah. There's Oklahoma City right there.
This is the Murrah Federal Building, 1995, Timothy McVeigh explosion.
Yep.
And look at the amount of damage on that building, and guess what? It didn't collapse on itself, and it didn't fall down.
Nope. It killed a bunch of kids in a daycare center. I know that.
I know. Here's one last one. I'll show you. And it's very similar angle, but it just kind of shows you there's so much damage that happened on this building, and that more so than what supposedly fell. So for those of you people who may still think that Tower 1 or the debris from either one of those towers damaged the Building 7 so much that it would have done this was a huge explosion if people don't remember. I mean, I know this was, freaking 30 years ago, 95, but my hell, this is a hell of a lot more damage. So I think basically what we're trying to say here is there's a lot of questions about what's going on and what's really happening.
See if you can find the Chinese demolitions that they did for it's like a fake city. They built the whole city.
Oh.
And they demolished their buildings. And it was literally like bing, 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 bing. They just right down, free fall.
Let's see if I can find that.
It was like 5 or 6 of them, if I remember correctly.
Okay, let's see.
They were beautiful buildings. They had nobody, and I mean nobody in them.
Interesting. I wonder if this is it here. I'm just doing a quick search. And let's see if this is what it is. Hang on a second for me to find this. Okay. I don't know if this is the right one, but I will see if this is it. This is probably not it. I need to try to find the other one. Got you in a yawn frozen on your screen there, but check this out.
An 18-story building in the Chinese city.
Explosion. Is it?
The 18-year-old high-rise, which was the old office
building, does that sound like the right one?
Airlines hit the ground in 6
That's a good example.
The implosion.
Yeah. Well, here it is again.
Prior to the explosion, the site had been kept clear as demolition experts laid 600 kilograms.
I don't know how much of experts they were. That didn't fall into its footprint like Building 7 did. That's some expert work right there. You know?
Well, the reports are that to keep it away from anything, they pulled in favors from the Israeli side, but
Oh,
there's been no confirmation of that.
interesting.
Yeah, but the sources for that kind of stuff are easily traced
Oh,
to
yeah.
the source. So, I mean, you have to catalog. If you were to go get nitrogen right now, for your garden,
Yeah.
in any type of quantity whatsoever, believe me when I tell you, you're going to be listed. And
Oh,
if it's too big of an operation and you don't have the business to substantiate it, then you're getting a visit.
yeah. Little knock on the door. Yeah. Well, I
Yep.
cannot find. Oh shoot! I cannot find this one. I don't know if this is it. Let's see here. Buildings, explosions, and collapses, but I don't know where this was. It's like 5 buildings together. I mean, check this. Whoa, easy. Check this out real quick. I just don't know. Okay, this is yeah. Anyway, I can't find it, but it's interesting. All of this stuff, and I think if nothing else, it should have people ask some questions and really kind of start to rethink this whole thing with the evidence that we've kind of shown and all of this. None of this is proven. We don't have any proof that anything was done on purpose, but there's a lot of suspicious stuff going on. And when you see how the thermite reacts, when you see how these buildings are coming down straight on each other, with even a controlled demolition like that last one I showed you, they're not coming straight down. I think the Tropicana Hotel in Vegas didn't even quite fall into its footprint. It was pretty good, pretty close, but still it wasn't. I mean, that 7 just straight down, dude, straight down. Amazing.
Okay. So, did you get that chat? I don't know if that comes up on the screen.
Let's see. That you just sent right now?
Yeah.
Floors 7 and 8, floors 41 and 42, and 75 and 76, floors 108 and 109.
Yes. So those are floors that are typically used for mechanical.
Okay, and any building, give or take the height. Okay.
So they'll handle elevators, electrical, air conditioning, primary functions for, services for those areas. That distribution for the building. It's not just tenants per floor. They're actual service stations and tools and, like I had colleagues that were working for the phone company up on the tower, on the top of the building. So, those areas, all the risers and the Toco closets, fiber, and all the pipes that go in and out. I mean, these are chases that are basically fortified. The staggered elevator shafts. There's the design inside that building. It wasn't just one elevator that goes straight up. It's like staggered. Boom, 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 boom. You've got these different, it's a different layout. You may have a good solid path of going straight up. Oh shit. I'm trying to think of how they have an observatory. They have all kinds of different things that the lobby was huge. I mean, the freaking roof, I don't even know what the ceiling height was in that area. I mean, that was like my landmark because I was never very good at going through the city. I would literally look up, go, okay, there's a World Trade. I know where the station is. I know I would get, there was a little bodega type of thing that was just outside, where they have like a little grocery store and a little hot plate where you can grab food,
Right.
Chinese food, Mexican food, whatever. But mostly Chinese food in my case.
Right.
But and just chill outside or walk the streets. You knew where everything was. As soon as those buildings came down, I was pretty much lost in the sauce. I too, in 2003, I worked quite extensively down there then. The corner of Broadway and Chambers, which is the building that I was in, oversaw the city hall, and hell of a view. We did it was an audio-visual project for a rather wealthy homeowner, if you will. It was just his place to stay when he came into town. He was from Florida, so a lot of the gigs that we did led to side stuff, audio-visual, theaters. Matter of fact, I made more money with doing that kind of work than I did in the official role that I was having, because it was just hit or miss. Are you ready to roll? That kind of thing.
Right.
And to be in those, to be with the money people outside of a secured environment in their own home, that's privileged shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To know that people are getting bailed out, or the Morgan Stanleys of the world. You remember AIG? What happened with them?
Good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting shit going on. More than we could even fathom. Guarantee it. Well, T, let's wrap this one up for Building 7, and then we'll move on to another one here in a minute. I know you got a few minutes. You can still rock and roll, hopefully. So anyway, like, subscribe, share the video. I hope you enjoyed it. We had a good time with our guest, T. We're going to talk about a little bit, a couple of other things here over the next little while. Plus, we have a lot more we're going to get with him on over the next, hopefully, few months or whatever. So hopefully we'll do that. So anyway, appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one, gang. Thanks.